I'd like to begin the Tuesday, October 18th, 2022 Townsend Conservation Commission meeting. Can I have a roll call, please?
Pat Gemolo here.
Linda back here.
James Gates,
Ann Lefboy.
Joan Savoy.
Kevin Smith.
the meeting is being recorded. Is anyone else recording? Chairman's additions and deletions. I do not have any additions or deletions at this time. We do have a hard out at 5:30 for our meeting, so we will get through as much as we can. Chair's report. Last week, our meeting was canceled due to some mix-up. I want to just reiterate that the meetings will only be canceled if we do not have a quorum. At no time will meeting be canceled, and unless if it's inclement weather or some sort of situation that's out of our control.
Personal or health related.
So just because one person isn't here doesn't mean we need to cancel it. So we need to try to keep moving forward, or we're going to end up with a backlog. And we do have quite a bit coming through in the next couple months.
I have one more class and it's on Tuesday and I'll be done, so I'll
Great.
pass that after that.
That's great.
Thank you.
So just a reminder, we only have one meeting November, one meeting in December. So they could be long meetings just to get everything in. And 1.5, review and approve the meeting minutes from 9/14/22. Everyone have a chance to review it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Do we have any questions, clarifications, comments?
They seem to be okay for me.
Yeah, they look fine to me.
So
Make a motion to approve the meeting minutes from 9/14/22.
Second.
roll call, please.
Pat Gemolo, yes.
I wasn't there, so.
Oh.
James Gates, yes.
Ann Lefboy, yes.
Joan Savoy, yes.
Kevin Smith, yes.
Do I need to say? I guess I can.
Yeah. So Pat did not attend the meeting. Do you
Yeah,
want to
sorry,
say-
yes,
No, it's okay.
I didn't.
So you're changing your vote to abstain?
Yes.
We still have enough. 1.6 agents report. Hi, Jessica.
Hey again. All right. Am I muted? Sorry.
Oh,
Okay. The message popped up, so that I was muted. Anyway, okay. So I adjusted this a little bit to account for more time, including last week since our meeting was canceled. So this is covering September 26th through October 14th. 3 building permit interdepartmental signatures, 1 for 25 Burgess Road. I reviewed 5 Madison Avenue, but I actually did not sign that. I noted that they needed to file with Conservation Commission, and I signed off on 183 Fitchburg Road. We had no referrals during this time. I had 1 Board of Health interdepartmental signature for 134 Barker Hill Road. We're still awaiting a compliance item for the 27 Scales Lane order of conditions, but that is actually getting done this week. So we should hopefully have it on an upcoming agenda. We're still continuing to contact applicants with outstanding orders of conditions to get their certificates of compliances filed. We are still trying to reach out to applicants and builders associated with the Deer Run subdivision to file and issue a bunch of COCs for that. We have the NOI for 238 South Row Road. Site visit was September 21st, and the hearing will be tonight for that. We have an NOI for 22 Sauna Row Road. Site visit is tomorrow, and the hearing is next Wednesday. I have been following up with applicants of current orders of conditions to try to schedule some work inspections. We have an intake of correspondence about concerns about the drainage swale in an agricultural field at 158 Main Street. I responded to that on September 28th. 61 Edward Road, I had a status check-in with the previous land use coordinator. We have not been able to get in touch again with that resident, so I mailed out a new letter asking for any method of communication on September 28th. Matt, mostly Matt, reorganized conflicting and confusing information from our conservation land uses and regulations webpage. So check it out if you haven't. It's much easier to follow. We have a request for COC for 6 Shirley Road. I did an inspection on October 5th and Matt went again today. That's DEP 308-0692. We will cover that tonight. We have a request for an order of condition extension for 3 Wheeler Road. I had an inspection there on October 5th. That's DEP 308-0678. Reviewed and commented on the Townsend Wetland regs that we'll be reviewing tonight, maybe 150-2L and 150-3. I conducted a construction inspection at 82 Ball Road on September 30th. Stormwater side of things, as I'm the stormwater agent, I was informed of the stormwater guidance for minor projects from the land use coordinator before his departure. I had an intake and review of a minor stormwater permit for 22 Ponderosa Drive. We have some ongoing review and comments on the application for a local habitat management project. I received a voicemail complaint about some street sweepings being dumped on Wheeler Road that were running into the brook, but I visited this area twice and did not find evidence of this. I met with a potential buyer for 183 Lunenburg Road about the site's possible development. And there was a lot of rescheduling and coordination that went into rescheduling last week's meeting to tonight. And that is it.
Great job. Thank you, Jessica.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Jessica.
Jess.
Any questions, clarifications, comments? All right.
Thanks, Matt, for fixing the web page.
We're a minute late. 2.1, notice of intent, DEP number 308-0693, Townsend Wetlands bylaw number 2022-135, continued from 9/28. Applicant Kevin Smith, location 238 South Row Road, projects. Proposed project is to repair replacement of an existing failed septic system and related site grading. Part of the construction will occur within 100 foot of bordering vegetated wetland. I'd like to open this hearing under the WPA and Townsend or Wetlands Protection Act and Townsend Wetland bylaws and Chapter 150 regulations. Need a motion in a second.
Make a motion that this hearing is opened under WPA, Townsend Wetland bylaws.
And the chapter 150.
Oh, and chapter 150. I'll second that.
Roll call, please.
Pat Jamal, yes.
Linda Matt. Yes.
James Gates, yes.
Anna Quinn, yes.
Joan Savoy, yes.
I must abstain from this because I happen to be the applicant. So,
Now you're gonna take the seat on the other side of
now,
the table.
if I can, I'll step over to the other side for a couple of minutes and present
Oh.
this. My engineer had some Bill Fate and his family, and so I'm gonna bring it before the board.
You have the floor, Kevin.
I don't know that I need to introduce myself to the board, so I guess I probably will.
So did it take note that he's recused himself?
I hope it did.
But
What do we
before we
have?
get started, can we read the legal notice, please?
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, that's my job.
And you have to check all the cards.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jessica.
Town of Townsend Conservation Commission legal notice pursuant to the Massachusetts Wetlands Protection Act and the Townsend Wetlands Bylaw. The Townsend Conservation Commission will hold a public hearing on Wednesday, September 28th, 2022, which has been continued to tonight, 10/18 at 4:40 p.m. The hearing will be held virtually via Zoom meeting and in person at Town Hall on a notice of intent and OI filed with the Conservation Commission by Kevin Smith. The property is located at 238 South Row Road, Assessors Map 24, Parcel 35. The proposed project is for the repair, replacement of an existing failed septic system and related site grading. Part of the construction will take place within 100 feet of a bordering vegetated wetland. Parties wishing to speak in support of or in opposition to this application may do so at the hearing or in writing prior to the hearing. Copies of this application are available for review at Town Hall during business hours and is signed by Jessica Consalvo, Townsend Conservation Commission agent. I have an abutters list compiled by Dillis and Roy.
What is it?
What?
Can I ask a question that has nothing to do with anything while we're waiting? for-
I guess.
It's not, it shouldn't. So what's the 150, the wetland regs 150 that people are talking about? So I thought it was wetland regulations 310 CMR. That's what. What
This
we
is
were
the
referring to,
Townsend, the chapter 150 is Townsend's,
Townsend's regulations, okay,
right? Jessica? Did you hear that?
okay, got it,
Yep, that's right.
thanks.
Patches.
All here,
What?
Mr. Chair, are all here.
Okay, cool.
Yep.
Kevin, you have the floor.
I'm not gonna reintroduce myself to the board. What we have is a simple septic
I'm
repair.
gonna step back a little because it's just your belly.
Oh, how's that? Now I'm out of the screen.
Get about 20 feet.
Now I'm out of the screen.
Oh, there you are. Oh, yeah. perfect.
That's okay. You're gonna say, geez, that's
Well, we just
good.
pulled it out.
What we have is, we have an old farmhouse over there. And it's just been there for 100 years. The septic was failing and somehow I got involved with it and we've got to do an upgrade to it. And along with this upgrade, there's a small depression in the ground down at the bottom in the field. And it was holding water and they classified it as wetlands. So in order to make the slope and the breakout, we've got to go into the 100-foot buffer. Think about 25 feet approximately.
So you're
The slope
75
grading.
feet away,
Huh?
you're 75 feet away from that depression.
Yes, I know
Okay,
that.
okay.
Still maintaining a distance of
Yes,
75
sure.
feet. I was almost there.
No, no,
So
I just
we're
want to make
outside
sure
the-
that I
well
was
outside
hearing
the-
it right.
well outside the 35 feet
Yeah,
by
yeah,
40 something. feet.
Yep.
We're gonna put, the engineers, designed, silt fence barrier along the lower, edge of it. Where it meets the grade and, we'll, get it, when we're done, we'll get it seeded down, we'll hay it, mulch it. So we shouldn't have any erosion issues coming down into it. And, we should be pretty simple.
Yeah, sounds good.
Yeah. We got, other than that, it's probably the simplest one I've ever brought before the board. Is there any questions I can help answer?
We were on, so some of us here were on that sidewalk and Jessica didn't seem to have any problems, right, Jessica? We all noted it seemed pretty straightforward.
Pretty cut and dry.
Yeah,
Right,
Probably the simplest one I've ever brought.
Yeah.
Standing on this side of the fence.
Did you have your hand raised?
no.
Okay.
we don't do-
I make a motion, we approve.
I'll second it.
Discussion? Pat, have any? Linda?
No, are there any special orders of condition that were put on that?
No, but shouldn't it be noted on the motion to include the DEP member and the Townsend?
Thank
Yeah,
you,
and then standard order of conditions.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
thank you. So I
Right,
amend my,
Jessica? Before we have to do it, before we have to do it again?
Yes, standard order of, unless you guys want to put any special conditions. I don't see any reason, but a special or a standard DEP order of conditions and attachment A, which is our bylaw order of conditions, essentially.
Jessica, do we have to mention the silt fence again in the OOC?
Nope, that's on the plan. So the
According to-
OC will reference that everything's to be done according to the plan, so.
Should I try that again?
Yeah.
Okay. I make a motion that we approve of the notice of intent, DEP 308-0693 and TWB 2022-135 as continued from 9/28/22 and issue a standard DEP order of conditions with attachment A.
Second.
Roll call vote, please.
Pat Gemolo, yes.
Linda Mack, yes.
James Gates, yes.
Anne LaCour, yes.
Joan Savoy, yes.
Okay. Now we need a motion to close this.
Make a
Here.
motion to close the hearing of notice of intent, DEP 308-0693, TWB 2022-135.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Pat Gemolo, yes.
Linda Mack, yes.
James Gates, yes.
Anne LaCour, yes.
Joan Savoy, yes.
Okay. That's one, Matt. Thank you, Kevin.
I'm gonna sign myself, I'm gonna check myself back in. As a member.
Moving on, 3.0. A little full in here, Matt. 3.0, request for a 3-year OOC extension for 3 Wheeler Road, DEP number 308-0678. I must abstain from this, so. Joan, you can lead the discussion because Colby isn't here.
Oh, yeah. Jessica, can you weigh in?
Yes. Oh my gosh, my cat. This 3 Wheeler Road. Sorry, I'm trying to get Kevin's order wrapped up. 3 Wheeler Road, yes. So I received a request to extend that permit. So it was issued to Ambrose Corporation in 2019, I believe it was. So it has not yet expired. But there was a recent property transaction, and so there is a new owner of that property now, Gary Shepherd. So both parties want the order issued as an extension for a 3-year period, and then also sort of issued under that extension to Gary Shepherd, with him being the responsible party instead of the old property owner. So I made an inspection with the previous property owner and their engineer a couple weeks ago, just to see what work, if any, had actually been completed. And there was just a small amount of work inside one of the wetland buffers that had been done, just a little bit of excavation. But the silt fence was up and around that area. So I did not see any reason for concern or to deny this request.
I have a question, Jessica.
Yes.
If the original OOC was issued in 2019 and this is 2022, why are we giving a 3-year extension instead of just say a 1-year extension? I understand it's a new owner, but that seems, like how long?
Sorry, it was issued in 2020. Sorry, November 2020. I would assume, I don't know, but I would assume that they probably lost a year at least to COVID. But per their order of conditions, they are authorized to request a 3-year extension. So
Okay.
that's their ability as an applicant, as permittee, to do that.
Thank you.
So it is a lot of work. I don't know the exact size of the project, but it's, oh gosh.
You're 9,000 cubic yards.
Yeah, so I don't know like acres how much it is, but it's going to be a lot of excavation, most of it outside the buffers. So we really can only concern inside the buffers, but it's going to be some excavation along a hill slope, and then they're going to regrade, and then like seed and loam, I think for agricultural purposes. And then there will be a stormwater basin installed sort of on the downslope end of all of that, to protect, is it Mason Brook? One of the brooks nearby.
So this is just for, it's not to build a building or anything like that, it's just.
I think they're gonna demolish 2 very old, kind of dilapidated farm buildings, but those are well outside any buffers.
As
I can't even
I
think of where it
understand
is.
it, there's 2 older chicken coops that were built
Oh,
there many
okay.
years ago. And as I understand it, though, the grade is they're gonna be demolished, the grade is gonna be lowered, and then they're gonna build
Turkey.
some new turkey structure,
Okay, got it.
building there.
Okay.
Hartley, can I have screen
Right,
sharing
yeah.
permission? And I will show you guys an aerial.
Sure, give me a second here.
That was my understanding in a
That makes
discussion with
sense.
the owner.
Yeah.
That could have been the plan.
Where the heck is 3-wheeler? Oh, there it is. All right, can you guys see that, my screen, the aerial photo?
Yep.
Okay, so here along the western side is sort of a wetland streamish valley with a couple of ponds that drain down here on the bottom off-site.
Willard Brook.
Willard Brook.
Willard, thank you, Willard Brook. Yes, so anyway, so what they're planning on doing, I believe, is to demolish, it's either the 2 structures with the brown roof or the middle one, and this little one, it's one or the other, I can't remember off the top of my head.
2 furthest ones up.
Yeah.
Okay, so the
old
2 brown roof ones.
Programs, correct.
So yeah, they're gonna demo those and then sort of excavate to have a better grade along that slope. And then,
Yeah.
at least per the last application, it just said that they were gonna seed and loam. So I'm not aware of any development occurring. But
So
if it is, we might be notified if it's
Yeah,
inside.
well,
Is this the processing place?
See
That
plant
is-
down-
That is
see that
about
right there?
where that arrow is, isn't it?
So that
Jimmy?
hasn't been built yet.
Yeah.
Oh, it has.
It
So
has.
this is
That-
going to,
that-
oh, okay, this is where the chicken farm used to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Amazon.
No, and
That, once that grade comes down, that's graded, those are watering holes for the cows
yeah, yeah,
currently.
okay.
The
Oh,
two of the
good.
three, I believe, are being used currently.
Yeah, Ryan's.
For the cows. So, all the work is basically, I think 99.9% of the work is basically outside that buffer zone.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So the
I have
work
a
that they've done so far is excavate, if you can see my mouse, like a little bit of excavation right here. So I think it's within the 100-foot buffer. But it didn't seem like much progress had been made on the site.
So my question is that Amadon has been a farm forever, right?
100 years.
So my question is, why do they have to, this seems really, like you can tell I'm not up to speed. Why do they even have to file with us?
So they're requesting an extension. So the order was, issued November 2020. So it's still, open and valid for another year. I think they just want it sort of reissued so that Gary Shepherd is the permittee and held responsible instead of them, since they no longer own the property.
Okay, I just like to protect our farmers from not having to do stuff. if they don't
No,
need to.
yeah, that's fine. Yeah, that's how I understand it.
Yeah.
Being transferred from one farmer to another farmer
But still,
with
doesn't it?
no intentions of
No.
doing anything besides the farm.
Yeah, so I,
It's gonna maintain its agricultural status.
Yeah.
But the original,
Well,
well, I just wonder
farmers,
why,
agricultural are supposed to consult, I mean, tech
Correct.
are supposed to consult with us,
Correct.
even though they have an agricultural exemption.
and because it's a disturbance of
Yes, I thought it-
6.73 acres, I'm sorry.
yeah,
And then,
It's
109,000
To
cubic
redo the
yard.
regrading is gonna require
Okay.
that they come see it.
I don't know enough about it. I just thought if it was pre-existing. And they weren't,
I can't make the motion to approve the extension.
anyway,
I'm just
I'll make
talking for
No,
information
no,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
know. I think Jones can make a motion to extend.
or someone, yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Someone.
Anybody.
Maybe because
Jessica, they're, or someone asked. her to-
I make a motion to extend the request for a 3-year OOC for Three-Wheeler Road DEP 308-0678.
second.
You're running it, Joan, so you have to.
Oh, right, thank you. Can I have a roll call vote, please?
Pat Jamal, yes.
Linda Mac, yes.
James Gates abstain.
And LaFleur, yes.
Joan Savoy, yes.
Kevin Smith, yes.
It's unanimous 4. Thank you.
Put it in there.
Okay,
Get my agenda back there. I lost my agenda.
We only have a half an hour. 3.2 certificate of compliance for 6 Shirley Road.
Joan just called it, so 3.2, COC, for 6 Shirley Road. Jessica, did you see anything that,
No, we issued this one just a couple months ago. It was a septic repair inside the riverfront area, all fully within the riverfront area and partially within a 100-foot wetland buffer. So I went out a couple weeks ago. All the work had been completed. Erosion controls were still up. The DEP sign was still up. Grass seed had been planted or spread, but there were no sprouts. But then another visit today showed that the grass was sprouting and probably about an inch at least. So looks like the site is stable and eligible for approval of a COC now.
I would like to make a motion to approve the certificate of compliance for 6 Shirley Road, DEP 308-692.
Second,
roll call vote, please?
Pat Jamal, yes.
Linda Mac, yes.
James Gates, yes.
And LaFleur, yes.
Joan Savoy, yes.
Kevin Smith, yes.
3.3 mandatory referral notice from ZBA regarding 161 Brookline Road. This is the self-storage unit. Zoning Board of Appeals will hold a virtual public hearing on October 19th, 2022, 5:45 PM via Zoom video conference on the application of Brendan Kavanaugh and Addison Newt for the property located at 161 Brookline Road. The applicant is requesting a special permit under, I'm not gonna read it all, outline commercial district uses allowed, special permits, Townsend zoning bylaw has the Zoom website, and Jessica printed out the emails she exchanged with Beth. Jessica asked the property since the property already operates as self-storage facility, is this special permit being requested only since it's new owners? And Beth's response was yes. No changes of operation being requested in the application. That doesn't include requests made at the public hearing, just FYI.
It's the occur after the owner.
So we just have to make a referral comment,
So,
Yeah,
such as no comment.
um,
I make a motion, we make a referral comment, considering the mandatory referral notice from the ZBA regarding 161 Brookline Road as no comment.
Second.
Second,
roll call, please.
Pat Jamalil, yes.
James Gates, yes.
Linda Matthews.
Linda?
Anna LaCoy, yes.
Joan Savoy, yes.
Kevin Smith, yes.
No comments. Moving on, mandatory referral notice from ZBA regarding 5 Madison Ave.
Can I ask, where's Madison Ave?
Off of Warren.
Okay, thank you.
Notice is hereby given that the Townsend Zoning Board of Appeals will hold a virtual public hearing on November 2nd, 5:45 PM via Zoom on the application of Joseph Shank for the property located at 5 Madison Ave. The applicant is requesting a special permit, accessory apartment in residential district, uses allowed, special permits of Townsend zoning bylaw. Yeah, Joe's looking to put an apartment on.
All the accessory apartments have to be family.
Well, it's his daughter that owns a house. So it makes
Yep.
sense.
So it is within 100 feet of the property line for wetlands, and Jessica, you can comment about it.
How
Oh,
close?
okay. Yeah, I mean, for this, like, I already told the applicant probably 2 months ago that he would need an NOI, so that is being prepared anyway. So I would still recommend that be a comment, just so everyone's bases are covered. But yeah, it's within the 200-foot riverfront area, and then the last delineation was done like 15 or 20 years ago when the subdivision was put in, so that is out of date. So I asked them to get a new delineation because it looks like there might be some newer wet areas closer up from the river than there were previously. So
Jessica, how old, the wetland delineation, when do they become out of date?
I believe it's 3 years that the ANRAD, the abbreviated notice, oh boy, resource area determination. It's one of the permit application types that people submit for a wetland boundary confirmation. And once that's confirmed, it's good for 3 years. So that would be my best professional guess, that a wetland delineation is good for 3 years.
I make a motion that we comment on the mandatory referral notice from the ZBA regarding 5 Madison Avenue as we are awaiting the NOI.
Second.
Discussion? All right, roll call, please. The comments will state awaiting notice of intent. Right, Jessica? Short and sweet, good.
Yeah, that should be fine. Yeah. He knows, everyone knows. So they applied for a building permit also, and I also commented the same on that, so.
Roll call vote, please.
Pat General, yes.
Linda Beck, yes.
James Gates, yes.
And LaCoya, yes.
Jones, boy, yes.
Kevin, yes.
Jessica, should it just say awaiting DEP notice of intent?
Or wetlands notice of intent, yeah. I think NOI is pretty standard language.
Okay, good enough for me.
Thank you, Jessica.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Yeah, I know.
Just don't think it goes with
It's the planning board.
Planning board.
2.5 is the planning board, not
Yeah,
the
the
ZBA.
mandatory report from planning board, votes on the bill bylaw.
Right, Yeah, mandatory referral notice from planning board regarding proposed zoning bylaw amendment.
I think I was against the agree with that. So, no.
I like that. I thought it was the lights. Was that the lights, the lighting?
The lighters, it was the housing zoning for multifamily.
That Mr. That Mike, is this the lights downtown, Jessica, the night sky?
No, this is age restricted development.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Jessica.
Yep.
Right, please review and the attached application relay to the planning board, any questions or concerns you may have. Provisions of MGL's chapter 40H, section 5 in Townsend zoning bylaw, section 12. The Townsend Planning Board will hold a public hearing Monday, October 24th at 6:45 PM in Selectmen's Chambers, Memorial Hall, and Zoom, following proposed amendment to the Townsend zoning bylaws, to see if the town will vote to amend its zoning bylaw, being chapter 145 of the town code, article 4, entitled special provisions, section 54.1, entitled age restricted development, as follows: by striking from subsection C entitled basic requirements, item 5 in its entirety. By striking from said subsection C the following sentence in item 7: a permanent conservation restriction running to or enforceable by the town shall be recorded for the common open space area, and shall include restrictions that the land be retained in perpetuity for conservation or passive recreation. By renumbering items 6, 7, and 8 in said subsection C as items 5, 6, and 7 respectively, following the elimination of existing item 5 as aforesaid, and by thereafter adding a said subsection C, a new item to be numbered state 8, stating as follows: the planning board may in its reasonable discretion reduce, alter, or waive any or all of the foregoing basic requirements upon demonstration by an applicant of just cause for such a reduction, alteration, or waiver. Or take any other action in relation thereto.
It seems like that's gotten complicated, Jessica.
Jessica,
Yeah.
why aren't they doing like just a zoning, an overlay district? I mean, this is like a blanket thing.
I mean, I don't know much about it other than what was just read. In the folder is also the actual bylaw itself, like the whole thing. But I think it's intended because I don't believe we're meeting age restricted development minimums. I think it's intended to make it a little bit easier. So the main focus would be that part 2 there, the striking a permanent CR needs to be retained for all the open space areas on there. So that is really open for y'all's discussion.
Boy, I'd like this. You got a planning board meeting next week,
This is the 24th.
next week.
Yeah,
And I wonder, I'm gonna
I'll be there.
I'm gonna go to that
I'll be there.
planning board meeting
Yeah.
because it seems like sounds like it's being worded in a confusing manner.
Could have been me reading.
It could have been too, you've had a hard day, but I think myself, I'd like some clarification. So I think I'm gonna go to the planning board meeting and see what's going on there.
So what I do
I
know,
thought it was a simpler change at Springtown meeting. Mr. Cadigan got up and they were trying to change something on the floor, as I recall. Were you there, Joe? And at the time, town council said, no, they couldn't change it on the floor, so they bumped it off till the fall town meeting. And they were gonna make the changes, the wording changes. And it seems like it's gotten very complicated from what it was on the town meeting floor in the spring.
from what I gathered from what James just read and from what I know from being on the Affordable Housing Trust also, is that when you are doing housing that is, we're all required now by the state to do certain types of housing, multifamily housing and such like that, then a lot of the, a developer can come in and if they meet the state standards for what this housing is, then a lot of these things like conservation restrictions and everything are waived. But my understanding is it's sort of per project basis. So I am certainly going to go to this meeting so I can better understand this.
I agree.
I have an email from Beth that says the proposed changes were prepared by town council and approved by the planning board at their August 8th meeting. So you can watch that if you want more detail. The amendment was also discussed in a previous planning board meeting on June 27th, where a prominent engineer in town came to discuss the issues with the bylaw and some difficulties he was experiencing with developers who were interested in developing under this bylaw. So I have that information if you guys want it, of past meeting minutes and the YouTube recordings for those. But yeah, of course, you're encouraged to go just to understand it better. But as from a conservation perspective, they are asking for a referral before the, what is it? So tonight.
One of the bylaw, and I'm racking my memory here, but I believe a lot of this pertains to also multiple home developments. Like
Multifamily.
multiple home, like Ball Road, where they had to put their a section of their property into conservation.
I don't believe it.
Well, that was,
I'm
that,
confused about that.
that's because of the wetlands, right? So they have,
Oh,
you
because they
have to
wanted so
put
many
the CR.
lots, and they didn't, I believe, the way it
Well,
bylaws
up
work
there,
is they don't want someone coming in and putting in another Timberlake Park.
Right,
I'll agree with you there. I'm just confused because I was at the town meeting and Mr. Cadigan, chair of the zoning committee, when the article was brought up, the article was written. It was like they made an error in their writing when they wrote it. And he had gotten up and tried to clarify it and see if they could make an amendment on the floor. And it was something quite simple. I think this is, of course, maybe through these meetings, it's gotten more complicated as it's gone more.
Yeah, and town council decided to go
And
through it.
everybody else in town councils got in and maybe taken a little harder look at it in the meantime, but. I don't know, I can't comment on that.
My comment would be that, and why isn't this, for instance, not having any CR on, the leftover land after a development project, why is this why isn't this on a case-by-case basis?
Well, probably should be.
So they're asking for a blanket, so that would be
But
my.
also in the end, it says, if you read, if Jim can find it, that can be. I think I saw it in there.
So, well, the planning board may in its
Yeah.
reasonable discretion reduce, alter, or
Yeah.
waive any or
Reduce
all
waive.
of the foregoing basic requirements upon demonstration by an applicant of just cause for such a reduction, alteration, or waiver. So if someone has a 10 or 6 acre, 5 acre parcel that they want to put workforce housing in on, they,
And it's all dry, there's nothing, there's
Right.
nothing to waive.
well, yeah, that's,
Well,
well,
even
that's a
even
different,
If it's wet, if it's workforce housing and it meets the things, you can
No,
go.
I'm saying if it's not wet, I'm using the example of my
Well-
condos. If it's not wet, there's no wetlands. Why is there gonna be a conservation restriction on it? But they
Because conservation
worded it
restrictions
so,
aren't just wetlands.
they've worded
Right,
it so.
exactly. It's
they've worded it so
recreation.
It's
they can-
recreational, it's keep open space, so it's not just.
So
wetlands.
I'm gonna share my screen really quick.
11
Um,
minutes. just-
Yeah, we don't-
I know, super fast, to show you what section right here. So this is specifically what I think what you guys are talking about. So they're just asking to strike the latter half of this paragraph. So there still is like an open space requirement that will need to be met, but
It will be on
I
two
think it
different
means
pages.
to not place that remaining open space under a CR.
So that would mean it would be developable down the road, the open space?
Well, no, the
No.
way I read it is it's case by case. Planning board may, in its reasonable discretion, reduce, alter, or waive any or all of the following basic requirements upon demonstration by an applicant.
Well, I'm going to the meeting. That's all I know.
So I don't know how you wanna leave it.
Yeah,
I was asked if you guys can't come to a comment tonight, I need to comment as the agent. So,
what would your comment be?
Put it on this guy. Jessica,
Yeah.
what are your thoughts?
I mean, I read the meeting minutes where the the engineer came in, and I mean, I get it. I read this as like a courtyard or something. So like, why would you put a CR in the courtyard that no random passerbys are gonna come and use it and destroy it? But like, that's how I sort of take it also. But again, yeah, it depends on the size of the lot, and it would be nice to know more. I agree. But
Is
it
there
still
any-
means that there is gonna be an open space preservation area at minimum.
Is there a minimum size of a lot and development that this?
Sorry, close your eyes. At least 2 acres.
That's really small.
Yeah,
Yeah. that's a
So
lot
it
of
needs
work.
to be at least, sorry again, at
What?
least
I could see it
30%.
more
I'm
land.
saying in a residential aquifer area, I do know that if somebody comes in and does the kind of housing the state demands we are doing, basically everything, all the restriction, everything goes by the wayside.
Well,
So I think we ought to move on, Mr. Chair. and just-
regardless, I will, record, we need that type of housing.
Yes,
of
So-
course
that
we do.
type, and we also need open space, so
It's-
somehow it has
yeah,
to be
And it
worked.
needs to be done
in a thoughtful way that doesn't.
Non-destroying.
Yeah.
And I'm going to the meeting.
Yeah.
All right,
I
so
think the part of number 7 that they are leaving is personally is more important than the part that they want to remove. Because they're saying that you need at least 30%, so say it's a 2-acre lot. So you need at least 30% to consist of open space. And you can't use the vast majority of that and just say, oh, well, it's wetlands. We'll not develop in the wetlands. You're not allowed to do that. A
Which makes
big
sense.
majority of that. So I think that there would be wooded green space, a decent amount on the site. And this is just saying to not put that part in a CR, because I think a lot of it is, I mean, we hold CRs, but who's monitoring them? Who's looking at it? I'm
We
pretty
don't
sure
wanna do
Conservation
that.
Commission owns,
Land
holds
trust.
6 or 7 of them, and
but
I
even
don't
then, look at all the conservation land that Timberley Park put into our lap.
Right,
All these little
Where the
Yeah.
pipes are.
tenth of an acre
Right.
parcels
Right.
that,
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
oh, we don't know what to do with it, we'll gift them. We'll do the
It's all
conversation.
over the place.
Yeah, I think the CRs are a bad
What
idea
should our comments be, Jessica? Because we only have 5 minutes
in
left.
general. Open space is fine. Give it to
Can you
conservation,
suggest?
open space.
Put no comment.
You could say we're.
I don't think she heard.
Yeah. Jessica,
oh, yeah.
can you offer, because we only have 5 minutes left in the meeting, could you offer a comment suggestion, please?
Oh, gosh.
Kevin, you can also make a motion with what you just said. If you-
Yeah. Go with that. Yeah, I mean, this is a commission review thing.
No comment at this time.
And members of the commission will attend your next meeting on this.
Okay.
You could say that.
Yeah, this is not end all be all for you. You guys can go to their meeting. Obviously, this would be covered, I think, in the special meeting in December. So of course, this is not your last chance to understand and comment on it.
So we need a motion to either no comment or a comment of, commission members will attend.
I'll
We
make a
could-
mo-
We could say we can't comment at
At
this
this
time.
At this time, that
but
we are going to go to
We're
the
going to
meeting.
attend the meeting and learn
So
more about.
I'll make
this.
a motion.
Yeah.
I'll make a motion to take no action, make no comment at this time. Regarding that proposed bylaw, and that a few of our attendees, it looks like will attend the hearing on October 22nd, I believe it is.
Fourth.
24th.
October 24th.
A second.
Roll call vote, please.
that's only yes,
Linda Mack, yes.
James Gates, yes.
no, clear yes.
Joan Savoy, yes.
Kevin, yes.
What time? 7?
It'll be on the calendar.
6:45.
You'll tell me what you want.
6:45?
Yeah, yes.
6:45. It's fine.
Jessica, there's 3 left under section 3.
We can push those till next meeting if you guys
well,
approve.
is there-
That's fine.
there's-
We have time to sneak through one more.
Yeah, can we sneak in one more? What?
Uh,
Correspondence.
Yeah, let's just do we can push the rest of the 3 till next week. That's fine with me. Yes, let's do correspondence so we can wrap it up.
What's the items on the 14th? I don't know.
We'll discuss it next meeting.
Did you discuss guns?
That, it's in the
I
drive.
could explain it to you, but then we're doing the whole thing.
Okay.
So this is the one about the lighting.
All right,
Okay.
Jessica, can
This
you
is what we're
run
talking
through
about
that
now.
quickly, or do you need me to dig through it?
I will have you do it because I have not read it.
I did.
Where's
Oh,
course?
yeah.
Here it is. Oh, yes.
You guys, you want a synopsis while James is digging?
I can.
Yay.
Sorry, I'm trying to pull it up. Gosh.
Oh, there it is. Okay. Zoning Board of Appeals transmittal of decision. Notice having received Okay, Joan, I'm gonna let you just give a synopsis of this.
My understanding is, so I attended the meeting, the ZBA had a, meeting with several people there, including the gentleman, Michael Brown, that's submitted this, and he had photographed several, buildings in the downtown area that their lights were not compliant with our lighting our lighting bylaw, which is basically everything has to go out at a horizontal downward plane. It can't radiate
Mhm.
up. And, then there's feet away from
Mhm.
all that other stuff. And he also is a big proponent of the nightsky.org, which is, they know now that having lights on all night of any kind, particularly ones that are pointing up, just really disturb the bats and the birds and the insects, and it's also disruptive to people. So the idea is to have less, when you see those photographs of the earth at night, when
Yeah,
it's all lit up,
yeah.
trying to have not Townsend be one of those towns that's all lit up. So Mr. Brown was concerned that the zoning lighting bylaw was not being enforced by the building commissioner. And my understanding is they asked that he wrote up, I don't know, 6 or 7 businesses at least, that they all be visited by the commissioner and being the zoning lighting bylaw be enforced at these places.
By the
I
building.
think that's right.
Yeah, by the building inspector, yeah.
Right,
That would be correct. He is the enforcement officer.
right.
Yeah.
Um. So they requested for enforcement of the bylaw.
Yeah.
And I think that's what he needed, the building inspector to be clear that he could go enforce this.
Yes, that is the case. There's a lot of stuff like that.
It's not,
Sometimes the wind just knocks them around, sometimes weather.
Yes,
sometimes you
yes,
hit 'em
it
and
does. The wind,
People don't,
Yeah.
aren't paying
that's
attention,
good.
when the lights are.
No, they
down,
can-
Nobody's small,
No, they can enforce that.
yeah.
so we don't have to comment on that.
no,
Yeah, okay.
it's 5:29.
Yeah, no. So education conferences, Jessica, I did sign up for that, the agricultural ditch maintenance.
Cool, okay.
Ethan,
Hi, Ethan.
Hi, Ethan.
All right, he's back. I can't go on pretty long.
Got his jammy, he's in his jammy jams.
Got right to the end.
Yep.
yep,
All right,
so it's 5:30.
Yeah.
Should I make a motion to
Anything not discussed at this meeting will
move to the next?
move to our next meeting next Wednesday. So we need a motion to adjourn, a second.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second,
At 5:30 PM.
Roll call vote, please.
Pat General, yes.
Back, yes.
James Gates, yes.
Yeah, yes.
Don't spoil it.
Kevin Smith, yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Don't leave without signing all those documents, please. And that there's a card.